misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old.
Hello and welcome. You are tuning into The Real Review, a movie review show designed to save you, the viewer, the time and money spent on a disappointing cinema experience. I'm Baker.
The geek.
This is Samson. And we've got the Rooster over here on the boards. So guys, I'd like to thank you first and foremost for that awesome birthday party that you guys went to. I was not invited to. That was great. You guys have fun?
Yeah, I mean, it was a party without you. Sorry. But no, it's for one of my employees. She invited us out. And
Well, the first part of the party definitely wasn't a party.
oh, God. No. We pulled up to Big Texas, which is usually a good spot,
it's
I
not
guess.
bad. It's not bad.
It was a Thursday night, and it was Big Texas night for us. And we pulled up to the parking lot, and Samson questioned if it was even open.
Yeah, there's like 4 cars.
It was bad. So we walk in, nobody checks us, our IDs, checks our coats, nothing's going on there. So of course we immediately see the only people that are in the bar that we're trying to see, which was 4 people. And what was there, 15 people in the whole place?
In the whole and probably not even. And that's like including staff. It was that dead.
It was so dead. We're wondering what's going on here, you know? So we got there like probably midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And we asked them, they've been there since 9:30. Sitting there saying this is...
Why?
Why?
Did you even ask them later on why?
Oh,
Sitting there for 2 hours, waiting for us.
As soon as I walked up, we go, why are y'all here? I'm waiting for the party.
Yeah.
Okay, Rooster,
course.
Samson, of course. So we say, can we please get out of here? But, I mean, it's a cool place normally.
No, it's not that bad. It's definitely, I think Wednesday is ladies' night. Baker, you and I went that one time with your wife. We had a great time. Well,
Yeah.
You want to hate it so bad because it has anything to do with country.
I don't like country, but you know, I will admit it was fun to get out there and get my dance on.
Yeah. Oh, that was classic.
I had a lot of fun with that. I've got.
my God,
I do
that
not
was
have
so
2 left
awesome.
feet, folks. Baker can dance. I can
you-
cut a rug.
You could definitely cut a rug.
Is that when he's by himself dancing?
Oh, he only dances by himself.
Oh, it's awesome.
Most of the time, it's in front of a mirror at home. We haven't figured that one out yet.
He's got to practice at some point.
He does a great running man.
Can't touch this.
But I mean, a lot of times, Big Texas has pretty big venues there, right?
Yeah, Texas Country, they're at Big Texas.
Because Big Texas has been around actually for a while. That particular building, I used to live in the subdivision behind it, and it was a Midnight Rodeo.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right, and it's changed many venues over. One time it was like a Hawaiian place, and they had a pool right in the middle where the dance floor was. It was like a pool, like 2 feet deep. But Big Texas has been around a while because they have bigger venues. They have a lot of Texas country music on Fridays or Saturdays, and it's a covered.
No, even on Tuesday they have Randy Rogers band playing. That's a huge Texas country.
Isn't that a drink, Randy Rogers?
That's a Roy Rogers, you idiot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know terrible country music. My bad.
No, it's Texas country.
It's Texas
Oh,
country.
my
Get
bad.
it straight, man.
You do live in Texas, by the way.
Right. Yeah, you were born here, right?
I was, yes, but that doesn't mean I like the music.
It's pretty impressive. I mean, I'm from Ohio. They don't have Ohio music.
Yeah, there's no.
At least I hope not. It's all Amish.
There's no other state that says we have this type of music besides Texas country, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So we got Randy Rogers there. It's Tuesday, the 18th, and then on Friday, Roger Kreger. He's old school, but he's great.
That's a big name. I know that name.
Yeah.
Right. It's pretty good. Oh, but we didn't stay there the whole night. We ended up going because the place sucked, right?
Exactly. So we went to a local pool hall. We didn't play pool.
At all. Touch a boob.
We played Touch a Boob.
Touch a boob.
I'm sorry, what?
Always a classic.
Always, it's the game where it's on the bar and there's
Oh, the little touchpad game thing?
Yeah, it's like
okay.
it's photo hunt.
split screen.
Right.
Tell the difference.
Right.
But it's naked ladies.
Yeah,
I guess,
there you go.
You know?
Which is right up the Rooster's alley.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I mean, that place was kind of dead too, but you know, we got our party on a little bit, took some shots, had a good time.
Yeah, it was
Wasn't
for
all
sure.
that bad.
It was for sure good. We got tequila shots for the birthday girl.
Right, your crew doesn't drink very.
Uh,
Huh?
I tell them we're professional drinkers. They don't know what that means.
Right.
Until they showed up and
There's like, oh, I can't take another shot. And you probably shouldn't drink either. I'm like, look, honey, I'm a professional. You know?
Like, we just started. What are you talking about? We just got to the party.
The birthday girl, she ended up puking in the men's bathroom that night.
Yeah, the bartender got us and goes, she's puking in the men's bathroom, right?
She's in the men's bathroom. She actually walked out of the men's and walked into the women's, too, afterwards. So it's pretty funny.
She walks out, it's time to go. We're like, yeah, you should go. And she was safe. It was fine. But don't forget, we went to Brian Regan.
Yeah, that was
Canadian.
Last weekend, right? Absolutely. Very funny.
It was at, where was it at?
I don't know, where was it?
Oh, it was at that other venue that you guys never invite me to. That's
so
where it was. Bayou City Music Festival is where Brian Regan. Sorry, I'm so informed on all of your excellent outings.
We don't do a very good job of keeping it private, right? Let's talk about it on a radio show.
You guys told me you were washing your hair that night. I was ready to party. Thanks a lot. I hate you both.
Hey, but we were talking about seeing that venue. It wasn't too. I was shocked on how packed it was. Like, I think Brian Regan's hilarious, but I didn't know he was that big. I mean, it was a line. It was a huge line.
As soon as we walked up, we were shocked that we were even in the correct line. We were asking people, you're seeing Brian Regan?
Is Brian Regan
Seriously?
here? Like, Obama's not speaking, is he? You know what I mean? It was a huge line, like, all the way out.
All the way out.
Right.
So we got in, looking for our seats, and of course, Samson goes straight to the VIP seats and claims them.
I forgot about that. Yeah, we didn't even know. We went in, got a couple cocktails, walked around, and there was like some kind of like mysterious stairwell. And it was like covered in front of something.
It's like the Wizard of Oz cloak type thing.
It was.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. I was like, let's just kind of walk up here. If we get kicked out, I mean, what the hell, you know? So we walked up, claimed like 4 or 5 seats. They were just there, and they had a bunch of other people. It was actually great seating. It was straight in front. It wasn't front row. It was in the back, but it was on the bottom, and it was kind of like a balcony. So we were just
like a balcony seating.
Right. It was balcony seating. It was VIP. The stage was right in front of us. And we're like, well, let's just sit here until we get kicked out. Well. Apparently, a little bit into this segment, a bunch of like really young kids walked up the stairwell that I would only assume actually had the correct seats. And I ran over to him real quick and was like, no, I'm sorry, you can't be here. You're not allowed to be up here. And then one girl was like, I swear to God, this is our seat. I'm like, sorry, ma'am, you can't be up here right now. So they ran down the stairwell. I was sure we came over. You were laughing your ass off. The other 2 people next to us were laughing. I said,
one of the biggest laughs of the night was that incident right there.
I was like, there's about to be an usher to come up here and kick us out, and it never happened. I totally spooked those people out of those seats.
Yeah. And it was so good because that was the perfect seats. There was nobody in front of us. Brian Regan was so hilarious.
Yeah, he was pretty funny. He was very funny. Very clean comic.
Oh, clean comic was surprising, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure he was great. Yeah. What with the whole, not Baker coming along. Can we talk about something that I'm related to, please?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We have ticket stubs for you.
Oh, thanks. I'll pin them to my cork board. That'll be my nostalgia board. Here are all the things
that I haven't really been to.
Rooster and Samson never invited me to. I hope you're happy. I go home and once again, a diary reference. I'm going to write sad things. Okay, can we get to the review? Gosh.
What are we reviewing tonight, by the way?
We're going for the Hobbit.
Oof.
The Hobbit, buddy. This and we even have with us today a special guest,
yes,
a local authority on the Hobbit, at least the book. So, welcome everybody. Please welcome Wolfman. Wolfman, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, Wolfman is a 13-year-old fan of ours who came in and wanted to kind of give us his 2 cents.
You know what, that really, and I don't want to, be too vain about the real review, but I think that's what really makes it special is because we are here for the everyday person. We're not here for the erudite, industry people. We're actually here to help, to help people out make a good informed decision. The fact that we've got, a local kid coming in to give his take on a movie that there's going to be millions of kids watching this movie. Most of them have already read the book, which I haven't, and get his viewpoint. Hey, talk about a feather in the cap, and I think that's what makes this pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. No, it definitely, we're about the viewer, and that's what it is. I mean, we're just coming in to inform the viewer. We're not coming in to try and, pander to somebody, like you said, in the industry.
Well, before we get into the review itself, just for some of the new listeners and maybe even some of the younger listeners that might be tuning in tonight, let's go a little bit into our rating system.
Oh, right? Yeah,
because we're not. Are we about stars?
No, we don't do stars. Do we do thumbs?
No, I don't. The Rooster does the thumb there.
Sneak and peek.
Remember, we have a 13-year-old guest, folks.
Ask me later.
Awkward.
No, we got a pretty easy rating system, straight and to the point. It speaks for itself. Our highest rating is must be seen on the silver screen, which is obviously our top rating. It's the movie's so good. Go spend the money. Go to the movie theater. Watch it now. Catch it on DVD. Maybe you shouldn't go spend $100, $150, $200 to take your kids or your family to it. It's good enough to wait till it comes out in Blockbuster. Well, that place is closed now. Redbox. Wait for the network premiere is our third. Maybe not that good.
It's worth seeing.
It's worth seeing maybe sometime in the
no
future.
Rush. You don't need to pay for it.
And last but not least, Baker's favorite.
Only to be used as anesthetic.
The movie sucks. Don't watch it.
Ever.
So let's give us a little rundown, okay, for us non-geeks about The Hobbit.
Okay, The Hobbit is, so to speak, it's the prequel. It is the prequel to the Lord of the Rings saga, which came out earlier in the 2000s and such. Tells the story of Bilbo Baggins, who you really only got to spend a lot of time with in the first Lord of the Rings movie. You get to see what he goes through to bring him to that point in the first Lord of the Rings movie. He's very reluctant. He's to go out on this journey, this adventure, to the Lonely Mountain, so that he can help these dwarves reclaim their stolen mountain home from a dragon by the name of Smaug. Not to be confused with Smog.
This is a lot of very cool names going on right now.
Bilbo, allow me to introduce Fili, Kili, Oin, Loin, Darlin, Balin, Biffa, Bofa, Bomba, Nori, Ori, and the leader of our company, Thorin Oakenshield.
You went to the premiere.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I went to the midnight showing. I saw it in 3D, in IMAX. There were assigned seats. We got gifts, these little lithograph kind of things that, posters that came in like packs of 4. I got to hang out with some really cool people, get some pictures taken with some really cool people who were wearing costumes. Oh, it was fantastic. You guys would have definitely been lost in that situation.
So at the end of the night, when you got back onto the short bus,
thanks.
With your giant feet that you had, that were Hobbit feet, apparently.
The pictures were great, and those people you met were really cool.
Oh, absolutely. They were really cool. They were funny, definitely. Really and truly, I enjoyed the movie thoroughly. I really did. I went in to just, I don't know. It was tough for me to go in and be objective, I guess, initially. But
That's the problem, though. That's the problem. You want to love the movie so much that you could have had, like, Bilbo Baggins running around with a turd in his hand. You still would have liked the movie.
That would have been hilarious. Yeah. What are you talking about?
No matter what would have happened, you big geeky guys who love that book and love the story, you fantasy guys, you're going to love it no matter what.
Well,
your predisposition to love the movie almost takes over your objectivity of the movie. Maybe how about that?
Well,
called you out, son.
I had some objectivity later on. When I first walked in, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be awesome," and halfway through the movie, I'm like, whoa, you know what? I'm not only
watching the movie with a chipmunk, or what was going on with that?
I change my voice when I'm excited.
Was that your Hobbit voice that you portrayed there?
How lucky for your wife.
I got big hairy feet. But hey, one cool thing about Hobbits, they have like 7 different meals throughout the day, which is totally awesome.
That is really outstanding.
Yeah.
So, Wolfman, what did you think, buddy? Let's get your little point of view in here.
I liked it. It was a pretty good movie, and it wasn't really like the book. Like they added a lot of stuff into the book from that they didn't have in the book, and I guess that was okay. But they did keep a lot of it. Like the ending I liked it a lot. I kind of liked it.
See, that's kind of intriguing because how can you add anything? The Lord of the Rings movies, there was 3 movies and 3 books, right? And each movie was like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
But this movie was close to 3 hours long, but it was 1 book. But the Hobbit book is just as long as the other books, right?
Well, and also actually it's slightly shorter than the other books.
So how can they make that 1 book into 3?
Really,
movies?
Because of the way that he
could
wrote.
There possibly be a lot of very boring parts in it?
No way.
Oh, no. Hear me out. Listen, the way that he wrote the Hobbit.
The Rooster.
The way that he wrote the Hobbit was actually, very different from the way he wrote the other ones. When he wrote the Hobbit, he actually, really compacted a lot of the details into very short segments. Like there was a battle that would go on for 3 hours. He would say a sentence. He'd be like, and then they battled for 3 hours, and then move on to the next thing. And there were like 30 of those battles in the book that took such a short time. They're dragging that out to show you a lot of these battles.
In the Hobbit? Is that what we're talking about? The Hobbit, right?
Yes.
Okay, same movie. Because the first movie,
you read The Hobbit, didn't you?
I read The Hobbit. I was actually in the play.
This is the only book he's ever read in his life, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, because I was forced to.
That didn't have Hustler on the front of it.
Okay. That's a magazine. Periodical. That's not a book.
Great magazine. I was in that play also. I don't remember what character. I was one of the dwarfs. Because I remember being in there the entire time.
I'm going to say that you were Feely.
I don't know what that means still. I even saw the movie.
I was thinking Lord Lorrainen or whatever, the Queen Elf.
I wish.
It's Galadriel.
Okay, I wasn't even close.
Galadriel of Lothlorien.
Isn't that a cosmetic line that I just said?
All I know is that was the only girl in the entire movie, by the way.
Oh, you know what? He is correct.
Done.
What? So there's one girl and she's half attractive, so automatically you're like, I'm done. I'm out.
I'm done with talking about this movie. It's worthless because there's one chick in there.
I
don't know if I'm going to say worthless, but I was disappointed. What'd you think, Wolfman? You say you like it, but you say you like every movie. Okay, so you're a bit of a movie whore yourself. That's right. I call a 13-year-old kid a whore. But you are a movie whore, Baker, for sure.
Absolutely.
So you guys are both geeks.
No,
you guys are both geeks. You guys both read the book. You guys both loved Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3. So it's by default you're going to like this. Doesn't matter what happens.
It's not so much by default. We just don't go into it with this cynical view. I've discussed this with you multiple times. I'm not going in trying to kick, Bilbo in the head. I'm going in like, I'm going to enjoy this movie.
Gandalf could have come out in fishnets singing show tunes. You would have liked
Which is
this movie.
would not be surprising out of Ian McKellen.
Can you recommend any decent gay bars?
Yeah. Apropos, my friend.
Wolfman, what did you think about this movie?
I thought it was good. I like the action and stuff and how they did it, but I just thought it was a little slow. And the parts would drag out, and you'd just be waiting for it.
Too much talking or what?
Not too much talking, but they would just be standing there, and the music would be playing, and they'd just be kind of standing there and wouldn't be doing anything.
Are you surprised by too much talking in a J.R.R. Tolkien story?
No, actually, that's such a great input.
I'm not at all.
It really is, because this movie, it just drug on too much. There was so much time. There was dead time in it. Absolutely. I looked over because I watched it with the Wolfman. He was all yawning over there.
How dare you yawn?
Oh, there was a lot of storytelling going on.
Well,
There's
yes,
a lot of storytelling.
That's Tolkien. That's what he did. He was the most verbose author maybe ever.
No, the three Lord of the Rings movies had something in all three of them that this movie definitely did not have.
I agree 100%.
Huh?
It wasn't cartoony. How about that?
Yeah. No, this one, well, that goes into the whole 24 versus 48 frames per second that he showed. Well,
what is that?
The director, how you basically shoot a movie on film in Hollywood is 24 frames per second, right? It's how you load the camera in and you shoot the movie. 24 frames per second, right?
I'll agree.
It's like the setting that you have on it for the simpletons, right? Okay. Now, 48 is obviously double, right? So the film reel is going by quicker.
Why?
So instead of 24 frames, well, it's stylistic and it's what he chose to do. And he's the man. He could do whatever the hell he wants to, so he did it. But people who screened it, okay, right away, because they have screenings of these movies, like for almost months sometimes. There was actually people vomiting in movie theaters. Like they had issues with it. And I was looking for that because I read reviews and I wasn't looking at a lot of the typical reviews because I think most of them suck. They don't tell me you get halfway through Ebert's review, you don't even know if he likes the damn movie,
Oh yeah,
it's brutal, you know. But there was a lot of people blogging and talking about the style of shooting the movie was unpleasant to watch. I didn't think it was unpleasant. It wasn't nauseous. Didn't make me nauseous.
No, not once.
No,
and I watched it in 3D.
But it was cartoony. It was cartoony. It was definitely there were so many scenes in it and shots in it that I saw that was almost like I didn't think the CGI was nearly as good as the first three. First three, the last
until
three.
Smeagol. Smeagol still looked incredible.
Is that weird guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Jesus, yes, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Give us the precious. We want it.
Why didn't he cut his head off? I don't understand.
Because do you remember earlier?
That's a good point.
Earlier in the thing, it was described to him by Gandalf. He said, Bilbo, sometimes courage is not knowing when to take a life, but knowing when to spare one.
How many times I lean over to you and go foreshadowing? How many times?
There's a lot. Yeah.
At least 4.
That was actually like one of the only times that I saw foreshadowing. I was like, ooh, foreshadowing.
There was so much
Samson would be proud of me.
Right. There was so much foreshadowing, and there was, I don't want to say cliche, because there was just a lot of foreshadowing. And then you told me, because you saw it before me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I like to get somebody's take, before I see a movie. That you said it was more comical than the first 3, and it wasn't funny at all.
No, there were.
What are you talking about?
You actually said it. You said, more cartoony. Like a lot of the facial expressions, the subtle nods, certain things like that were more funny. I mean, you go back and watch Lord of the Rings. Never once was it like, did somebody make a random, like smart aleck comment and you laugh at it. But watching, The Hobbit, I did that a lot more. Somebody would say something and then, somebody would raise an eyebrow, and I was amused by the situation, by the facial expression, by the response.
Wolfman, what did you find it funny?
There were parts that were pretty funny though. Like they had a little thing, and people would, even in the theater, like some people would like snicker and stuff. You would hear it. But it wasn't like big funny like other movies, but it had some funny parts in it.
Because I was thinking the entire time, I go, it's kind of cartoonish, so kids would like it more than adults almost. And then we got a 13-year-old kid here. Does he think it's funny?
It wasn't that funny.
Was that funny?
They had some comic relief, maybe part. No, what part? Give me one part. I'm gonna call you out. Give me one part that was funny. Can I get a timer? Can anybody play the Jeopardy theme? So
well,
probably
I would have to.
not
there
that
were
funny.
Parts I forgot. Like they would be like, I don't know.
I mean
they had
the
big
facial.
noses though.
There was nothing that funny in that movie.
They had big noses.
They had huge. I noticed that.
Is that a
I saw
Jewish
the
joke?
Sorbs, so they had like huge noses.
That was. I actually liked that part of it. I thought the makeup in this was hilarious. It was great. I mean, it was dwarves. Everybody had big noses and big foreheads and, weird braided beards and hair.
Costume was good. They'll get an Oscar for costume.
Costume was great. Like the Lord of the Rings costumes were great, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The same characters, just
it's all the same people too.
The same people, right?
I mean, what I'm saying is, why dice it up into 3 movies? That's what I kept thinking about. Like, if I have to sit through this, and this is almost 3 hours, okay? And you want me to sit through 2 more? And I've already done 3? Right? I mean, come on.
Oh, you don't even know. You don't even know.
Oh, I don't even know what's going to come out of your mouth right now.
Oh,
okay.
When Return,
you're right. I don't know.
I'm excited.
I don't even know if I want to know.
When Return of the King came out, it was the I went to, as I go to almost all of my geeky movies.
What is Return of the King?
Return of the King is the 3rd installment of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the ones that had already come out.
Hold on, wait a second though. I don't quite know where you're going with this. But when I saw the first Fellowship of the Rings, right? I didn't read the book, and I'm not a fantasy guy. But when I was done watching it, I was satisfied, and I sure as hell wanted to see the second one. And then when I saw the second one, I was satisfied, and I've heard the buzz about how badass the third one was, and I was eager, and I saw all 3 of them in the movie theater. When I was done with this one, I go, I'll probably watch the next one on DVD. It's immediately what I thought when it was done. I didn't hate it. But I remember thinking at the very end, a little relieved that it was over, and go, man, I'm going to check whatever this second one is. I'm probably going to watch it in DVD, and I'll watch it with my kids and popcorn and a lot of booze. And
I agree 100% that's
it did not leave me wanting like the other ones did. But you know what I kept thinking about watching it was, I kept thinking about, if they would have done this movie first, little Samson flips the script action. If they would have done this movie first and done it in just one movie, I probably would have loved it, and it would have pumped the hell out of me for seeing the Lord of the Rings.
As one movie, yes. But this is going to be 3 movies?
Imagine how much you have to cram in. I mean, when they made the first 3, did you guys ever see the extended edition? The first 3, there were 3 hours each, right?
Mm-hmm.
The extended edition was 45 minutes or more of scenes that were cut to shorten it for the theaters.
Of course, because nobody wants to sit through that except alter geeky people, which comprises of maybe 1% of the population of the world.
Oh, how dare you!
Well,
we are.
Hey, look, I love all you geeky people. Please don't hate me for that comment. I love all you geeky people, but I'm coming from an industry point of view, which is always the take I have. I had to, for those of you who listened to our Man with the Iron Fist review, I had a huge debate with a guy today because he was saying, it was what it was supposed to be, and Tarantino wanted it to be that way. He was so passionate about it. And I go, but looking at it from the executives are the guys who push the buttons. They really are. You get Steven Spielberg and you get some of these other people that are executives and directors, but a lot of these people are just directors and creative people. The people behind the scenes are the ones that make all the decisions, make all the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why would you possibly do a 4-hour movie and then do 4 of them? I mean, who's going to want to watch that? Nobody.
Me.
That's 1% though, probably.
That's less than 1%.
How dare
really
you?
Is,
you guys don't know. You guys don't know nothing. You're not passionate about any movies.
I'm passionate about so many movies, and I'm passionate about a lot of themes. But I do realize that the body starts ticking after 2 hours, no matter how good the movie is. You're sitting in a dark room, you're watching a movie, you want to be entertained. I'm not saying I wasn't entertained in The Lord of the Rings. I was entertained. But The Hobbit, I was entertained half of the time.
I really wanted to get into this movie to get into the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I liked The Lord of the Rings. I watched them at the house, all on DVD, because I was married, couldn't go watch movies. Okay. Not talking about that at the time. But I wanted
But
to
he did watch Steel Magnolias in the movie theater.
Come on, babe. Let's go see Steel Magnolias. Yeah.
Is that fried green tomatoes? I don't know.
They're all the same movie.
It's all the same
one
movie to me.
Steel Magnolias, fried green tomatoes, Runaway Bride.
And how many feminists did we just offend?
It's a giant mush of movies to me, by the way. Yeah, babe, it's great movie, of course. But no, I wanted to get into The Hobbit. You know, I wanted to get into it and kinda, be there for it. But I didn't. I was kind of sad.
You were there for it, though, by the way.
Yeah, I was there for 3 hours. That's correct. I was there for 3 hours, but I didn't get into it, and I was kind of sad about that.
Thank God for movie theaters that sell booze, right?
Yes,
that's
correct.
I gotta say, that you bring up Fellowship of the Ring. That is the one movie out of the trilogy that I probably watch least of all, because that is the one movie that has the least amount of action. It was beginning the story. It was giving you a preface, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? Building up the setting and everything for the rest. That's what this movie was.
You were definitely debating this movie so
Absolutely, because this movie was awesome.
Okay. What rating do you give this movie? Because you told me the other day that I'd be surprised on the rating you gave it. So what is the rating you give it?
What defensive rating are you going to give?
No, what rating do you give it? Because you said you called up, and sometimes we don't talk about movies because we're waiting for the cut, right?
Yeah.
So and we're cinemaniacs, so we want to talk about it. So I'm like, all right, hey, let's not talk about it too much, and we'll wait till the cut. But you made a comment to me the other day. You'd be surprised on the rating I give it. So what is the rating that you give it?
I honestly have to say, unless you're one of my kind, the geeks. You're going to have to get this on DVD. I mean, to be honest with you.
God's open up, man. Huh?
Because, okay.
You're so defensive right now just because we're kind of harping on it. But you know what? I give it the same rating. I give it the exact same rating. But just because I'm harping on a little bit, you're geeky.
Because I feel like you're attacking my life force.
My people.
You're
not an elf or a dwarf or whatever the hell else is going on.
I'm a halfling. No, I mean,
don't be ashamed, Baker. Okay, don't be ashamed.
You gotta understand. I say to all my people out there, to all my geeks, all my nerds, all my fans, all my fanatics. I have to say, go see that in the theaters right now. If you're listening to this, if you're listening to my voice, see it in the theaters. However, if you just thought that it was a neat little series when you watched The Lord of the Rings, it was like, oh yeah, those were kind of cool.
That's a pretty good review right
Go
there,
see it.
Huh?
Go see it on DVD.
I don't really want to punch him in the face now like I normally do.
Why are you so violent with me?
Well, because I have to sit through these crappy movies sometimes. It wasn't crappy. It had the best part. What was the best part, Wolfman, in the whole movie? What's the best part in the whole movie?
I would say that the goblin chase scene.
Oh, what are you stealing my material?
That was great, actually.
You steal my material all the
That
time.
was
You
all,
know that
like-
because I told you that in the movie theater. That was my favorite scene.
Oh, I'm just saying it was though.
It was
really
actually.
was.
Yeah, I agree. Like, even when they grabbed the big pole and they were like just shoving, goblins off side to side. I mean, it was great. I liked they worked as a unit because that's what dwarves did.
Yeah, but the actual sequence, the direction sequence of it, was actually very impressive. Right? It was very entertaining.
They had, all the things where they always were doing something else to get people out. Like, it was really cool. Just
Constantly
doing
switching
something
weapons, kind of
else.
thing.
No,
You mean?
always just like doing something really neat to just get people out the way, and they're always doing something cool just to survive, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was very entertaining.
They weren't like just totally killing everyone standing there like unrealistically. They were just running.
The sequence, it wasn't a scene. It was a great sequence.
So
it was almost redeeming for me because I was kind of getting. I wasn't hating it, but now
getting restless.
Restless is a great word, actually. I was like, come on. I had the rooster chirping in my ear. Is somebody gonna die? Can I see a boob? What the hell's going on over here? I'm like, yeah, kind of. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of storyline. I also thought that the initial beginning of Bilbo like talking to Frodo. I mean, I would assume that's in the book, but it lasted for 20 minutes, almost maybe 25.
No, that was very long. I agree with you on
long,
that.
and like, what is going on? Are you just gonna tell the whole story? And is there can there be anything going on over here? I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna go with the same rating you got, and that's coming from the viewpoint that I've seen the first 3 or the last 3 or whatever you say. I mean, there's even if you're not a geek, it has the goblin scene's pretty cool. It's got some decent. The dwarfs were kind of fun. They could have been funnier though. You could have wrote the dwarfs much more humor. The dwarf in the Lord of the Rings one. What's his name?
Oh yeah, John Rhys Davies playing Gimli.
Okay, is that the dwarf in the
Gimli, son of Gloin?
Okay, son of groin. Whatever.
Son of groin?
No!
You can't not like the names. They're funny names. I like the names.
Oh, the names are crazy.
They're always weird.
Know?
Like, they always have, like, an A. They're always A's. Always A. I always see that. Like,
Edoras.
like, fantasy is always an A in the names. A.
Aragorn.
You always got
Faramir.
Yeah.
I've never noticed that, but that makes so
There's
much sense.
a lot of A's.
It's so true.
A's and E's.
Yeah.
The rockin' vowels in the fantasy
Legolas.
world.
A's and E's.
But I thought he was funnier, much funnier than even these dwarves. They had a bunch of dwarves that I kept looking at them thinking 7 dwarves, right? It was kind of funny.
We're
you know?
sneezy and dopey.
I'm like, kid, I mean, it wasn't the hobbits. The 3 hobbits in the first one were a little bit more hilarious, you know?
Yeah.
The 3 hobbits in the first one, they were talking about, what about, like, lunch and breakfast and dinner, and they had weird names for the middle ones.
11's,
right,
dinner,
you know?
supper.
I mean, I thought those guys were more comically written
Merry and Pippin,
than all the dwarves. I also didn't like the fact that none of them died. Now, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to die in the second or third.
Whoa.
But, oh, my gosh.
You just want death? You just like the...
Yeah, I go to an action movie to see some people die.
Yeah, but not like they had the movie like a big storyteller kind of thing. Like they're pulling it off as a big story for like people who read the book. They had like a bunch of background stuff. It wasn't just in the action scene. They had a bunch of like if you just were like interested.
No, it's completely story the entire time. I kept hitting Samson.
That's
going,
fine, but I mean,
is one of these dwarves going to die?
Yeah, I wanted somebody to die.
I
Don't kill a dwarf.
I need
Hey, hold on, that thorn guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got like eaten by a wolf, and then he just like, hey.
Oh, he had his armor
just,
on.
Just started walking.
Have you not seen how well armed? Like his
that was
armor
wolf
is.
skin armor that a wolf just bit. So I don't think
He
it's
was
armor.
just holding him in his mouth.
Yeah.
And
You
I
know
was
what?
like,
The pale,
this dude's got to be dead.
the
right?
pale orc guy with the weird hooky hand.
That was
thingy,
pretty cool, actually.
That guy wanted him alive. He wanted him alive because he wanted to be the one to finish him. So when the wolf grabbed him, he wasn't biting down to chomp him in half. He was keeping him alive to bring him to big old Paley.
Did anybody notice that all the bad characters in the movie looked exactly like lesser down versions of the 300 characters?
Yeah,
movie 300?
Right, yeah.
Like the one big badass guy that's like killing everybody was that, what's his face? You just said it. Leader of the bad guys? I don't know.
Oh.
The pale goblin?
The pale...
Yeah, the pale goblin leader guy.
Yeah.
But he's like a dumbed down version of it. But all the gross guys, like
Right.
dumbed down versions of the gross guys from 300. Is that just me? Nobody else noticed that?
I think that's you.
I'm going to go with this, just him.
Come on!
That's how we say a lot of things. It's usually just
300. You saw it. I know 2 guys saw it at least. 300.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it.
It was
But
the same
no,
characters.
they were Persian guys.
I
they were actually like
Persians aren't
Humans.
orcs. I don't know if you're aware of this.
I wanted.
Hey, for all our Persian fans, he doesn't speak for the entire.
No. We believe that you are not an orc. Please enjoy.
We really believe that you're human beings. And you have a right to walk amongst us.
You are not elves who went over to the dark side and were corrupted by the greed.
That is so geeky.
I wanted to see 300, but people tell me it was not appropriate for children.
Well,
No,
like
it's
not.
this
Fair.
show is.
Well, I can tell you that those bad characters were the exact same, but down. They weren't the same characters. They were just.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I could see them in my face right now. I can see them playing Y'all call me a dumbass, but that's
That's only because one of them had
No,
a
no, no.
That's only because one of them had a nipple.
a nipple.
Yeah.
Like
Remember I
Batman?
I'm not
No,
talking
they
about
did.
the king. Like had some weird nipple thing go from his ear to his nipple to his nose. I'm not talking about that.
No, I'm talking about one of the orcs. Remember they walked out? I go, why does this guy have a nipple? How weird is that? Why would
What
they even
people
put
are not?
that?
What's wrong? People have a nipple.
No, why would they even put a nipple on an orc? Who cares?
know.
Orcs have nipples.
Why does an orc have a
Exactly.
nipple?
Why wouldn't they? I told you they
Can
were
you-
elves that went to the dark. They were corrupted by greed and they became orcs.
Everyone has to have a nipple.
Yeah, see, every
I agree with him so much.
Can you milk an orc?
you can milk anything with nipples.
How do you think they get their calcium?
All right, Rooster. So what are you
we
gonna
talking
say for
about?
your rating on this, Rooster?
My rating,
Don't be influenced by us, Rooster.
No.
Give us what you want.
I'm never influenced by y'all. You got to see it when it comes on TV just to see it because it exists.
Wow.
You will die.
You literally, it's like you purposely just reached into my chest and pulled out my heart. That's
Yeah,
what
but
you just did to me.
Don't tell me that you geeks who loved the Lord of the Rings thing and read the books aren't somewhat disappointed with this movie.
Not at all, because once again,
You're
just like I said, I'm not disappointed. I'm just saying, I went into this as a geek. You know, I went into this saying this is the Hobbit. Awesome. I can't wait. You know, and when I walked out of there, yeah, I understood that not everybody should see this in the theaters, but I also understood that, you know what, the first Lord of the Rings movie was an intro, and it was slow to me, and it was all talking, and then, boom, it got into the other ones, which were filled with more action.
It definitely built character so much better than this one, and
You
this
need-
is the original building character movie.
You know what I
For
couldn't
sure.
wait for is some action to actually happen. It was like 2 hours into the movie.
Well, no, there was the flashback. You had that initial flashback, right?
Yeah, very small flashback.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
2 hours later, some actual action happens. Maybe I'm action driven in a movie that's going to entertain me because it's sci-fi. And
Fantasy.
I knew you were going to get called out once
no.
you said
It's
sci-fi.
No.
kind of like the same thing.
No, they are not the same thing. How
Oh,
dare you?
Look at a geek just got called out by
I
another
know.
geek.
No,
there's
absolutely
no
not.
aliens in there. Okay, so it's not
Well, sci-fi and fantasy,
Sci-fi,
as Baker has
isn't
pointed
it
out to
mean
me.
the same thing? That's
No,
what
sci-fi.
fantasy
No, let me-
is
let
in
me
the
tell you.
section of sci-fi.
No.
Maybe
Let me
in
tell you as a
Blockbuster, but not in my
no,
heart.
Stop. Let a non-geek tell them.
Okay.
Okay, sci-fi has to do with like science and space, right?
aliens.
And future
and
and
future.
technology-driven
There you go.
plot lines.
Okay,
Fan-
this so
fantasy
some old
has to do
school
with
stuff.
crappy Middle Earth.
Middle Earth,
Hey.
good times.
It's
Okay,
not crap.
so I
May
didn't.
not have been the best.
I was
but it
waiting
not crap.
to.
I'll tell you.
I think you're correct. It wasn't crappy. I'm not saying it was crappy. I can tell you though, however, that the whole scene with him and Gollum. Am I saying it right?
Gollum, yeah.
Oh, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be that correct.
It was like almost exhausting. It was almost
Yeah.
exhausting.
They
It was
played up.
like,
They played up
what?
they played up the the two-faced Gollum thing
Ugh.
a lot. Like in the originals, it was done a lot better. But this one, you know, okay, we all know. We saw the other movies. We know that he's got split personality. You don't have to beat us over the head with it. I agree with you on that.
I thought that whole scene, and you know what? I thought the worst CGI scene of the whole thing was the big rocks beating the
That
crap
was
out
very-
of each
yeah.
other.
Yeah, that
What?
was.
The mountain rock people. Like really?
There was no preface to that.
They
Like,
just kind
Was
of
that in the book? Was that
Yes.
in the book?
No, they didn't have that in the book, did they?
yeah,
They did.
Mountain
Yeah, the-
rock
the
people,
rock golems?
the giant rock people.
there were rock golems. yes.
They were mountain rock people.
I just know that they did a lot of things that they didn't do. They didn't have in the books, like the whole. Like, they didn't make the whole thing about the dwarves trying to get back their home. Like, that wasn't, like, a big thing. Like, they didn't even have the flashbacks. That was never even in the books.
What was the big part of the book?
It was just a journey to go get the
The
I think it was
treasure.
just- Yeah, I think it was all about the treasure. It wasn't even.
They
about...
didn't have the flashback, really?
No, they didn't have any of that.
Look at the wolf
They made
man.
they made the
totally.
they made the dwarves bigger in this. I would say. Yeah.
Well, it was
I
a
love that
dwarven.
viewpoint.
It was a dwarven. All right, the place
Baker,
where they were
you
going.
just got schooled by a younger geek, man. You
How
know that,
dare
right?
you? It was. Listen, it was a dwarven mine.
Later,
That's
he's gonna
where they
start
were
beating
mining
the wolf man on his
in
way
that.
out. Don't you take my thunder, you SOB.
Oh, come on! It was. Yes,
That's
it was not
I
like
had
a
absolutely
big.
no idea. I thought so they just made up the flashback?
Yeah.
Did
the
they
whole...
make up the dragon?
No, they
No,
didn't
no.
make up the
Smaug
dragon,
is
no.
is a huge part of the whole story.
How
Yeah,
did
but
they
how do you
start
know?
off the
How do you
Hobbit?
know?
No, that's what Samson's asking. How did they start it off?
They started it off with it was really just like they started off with Bilbo and then just randomly he just got dwarves. Like he didn't know, like it started you off just randomly there were dwarves coming to his house, you know. They didn't know, didn't know why there were dwarves, and then eventually he came in.
Well, how do you know about the dragon then?
Because they tell you about it. They tell you there's a dragon there. They're going off to the quest.
The dwarves told you about the dragon?
No,
How big was
Gandalf.
that? How big was the flashback scene? 20 minutes? 25?
No, at least 20 minutes.
Oaken Shield, where he used the chunk of tree to save himself.
I like that name that you just said.
Oaken Shield.
So that's all crap. That was all flashback crap you didn't even see?
Yeah, you never got that.
Oh, come on.
For
like
those
the-
of you
I
who
like the
play
movie less.
D&D, for those of you who play D&D, they tried to make it an actual story, an actual
Well,
meeting.
Rooster plays
Does
double
anybody
D
know
all the
what
time, but
D&D
it's
is? I
really
don't
not
know
the
what
same
D&D
thing.
But here's the
is
thing,
it?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
Everybody, let me
Double
tell you what
Ds,
the opening.
bitches.
Let me tell you what the opening to The Hobbit would have been if they didn't change it and give it more story.
I don't think there's that many.
You
people
all
who play
meet in a
D&D.
bar.
It was-
Because that's how every Dungeons and Dragons thing starts. So,
Go ahead.
no, every Dungeons and Dragons thing, when you have a storyteller or a dungeon master who doesn't have a lot of creativity, just wants the group to meet somehow and then go on their quest, it'll always be, so you all meet in a bar. And that's pretty much what would have happened to these people, all these people that are going to see this movie in the theaters. If they would have gone with the books instance of how things happened, it's
an
like,
interesting take.
so Bilbo's just sitting there, he's eating some cheese, and all of a sudden, doom, 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 and there's a bunch of, dwarves showing up. It's like, hey, we're dwarves. We're in your house now. It'd be kind of awkward until finally 20 minutes later they explain what's going on.
I could agree with that. You're talking about this cinematic experience of doing a flashback. So then why have Bilbo, old Bilbo, and Frodo walking around, him writing in his journal and having to relive that whole crap?
It was
from
a
the
segue. It was a segue. It allowed
10-minute
you...
segue, man.
I
Really?
understand it was a little
It was
long.
long, and you pair it with your flashback. You're 30 minutes into the movie, and you're kind of going, "This kind of sucks." I wish there was some raping and pillaging in the Shire right now that I could,
But here's the thing.
Vikings.
Vikings.
People... Oh, what?
The Vikings roll into the Shire, and now it's a party.
Yeah, it's a party. I think there's no Vikings in any of these books. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm done now.
Well, no, but think about it. For people who aren't, just big fans or whatever, the only thing they know about the whole thing is that it is tied to Lord of the Rings, right? It's the prequel to Lord of the Rings. So if you just jump right into something you're not familiar with, it might catch you off guard. But instead, they brought you in. It was a segue to show old Bilbo and young Frodo there in the beginning. He tells a story, and then boom, it goes right into it. I thought that was an excellent segue from what we've already seen.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not hating the movie. I'm just saying that I don't even want to say I was let down because I kind of went into it knowing. I think if I went into the movie thinking that it was going to be 3 hours long of The Hobbit, I think it would have been okay. But when I went into it knowing that it was 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it's only a portion of The Hobbit, I knew it was going to be somewhat of a letdown, and it was. Because the first three, I would say, go see them all on the silver screen. I saw every one of them in the movie theater. I think I saw one of them twice, which is a rarity for me, And this one, I don't even know if I'll see the second one. Well, we probably will,
Gonna be forced to see the second one.
You're right.
Absolutely. And next time, you guys are coming to the midnight showing with me.
No, actually,
Yeah, it'll take me.
I definitely will
It better.
because I thought the beginning portion of your movie was almost more entertaining than the. We didn't have anybody. We went to go see it. There were. I didn't see one hairy foot.
Wolfman, did you enjoy this movie or not?
Yeah, I enjoyed it just knowing about it, and it was cool seeing all the new stuff that they added in. It was kind of disappointing. I was kind of like, why they added it in though? But it made sense, and it was interesting. It was a good story. Like, it was a big story. Like, because when I watch, like, especially when I read books, I'm not big on the action. I just like the story and the background and all, knowing all that, and I just like that kind of stuff. So I enjoyed the movie, and the action scenes were pretty good.
So would you recommend? You're 13. What 7th grade?
Yes.
Right. So would you recommend this movie to all your
friends,
your buddies, friends, people you go to school with? I mean,
enemies.
Would you recommend it?
Not really. I mean, I guess if you read The Hobbit, then yeah. But if not really, and you didn't really were big on The Hobbit or anything, you could get it on DVD just because you wouldn't be like, oh gosh, that was an awesome movie. But it would have been a good movie.
All right.
I'm digging this guy over here. Yeah.
Wolfman, you are welcome at any time.
At any time, buddy. Well
Absolutely.
done.
I will be back.
Good to hear. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us here at The Real Review. Be sure to catch us on our Facebook. That's facebook.com/TheRealReviewTX. Also, follow us on Twitter at Samson L. Matador, at The Rooster BB, and at Baker the Geek. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.